Hi, welcome to Guitar Journeys. I'm your host, Bryce, and in this episode, I'm going to be covering jamming, which is near and dear to me because for the last year, I have been jamming at a local blues jam, and my guitar playing has really come along because of it. And a lot of you out there want to get into jamming, but they don't really have an idea of where to start or how to go about it. So I wanted to offer some tips and really just from my experience, what I've figured out along the way. So hopefully it'll help you guys out. So before you jam, you got to do your homework. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to find a local blues jam. And you can do that by using resources like Craigslist or online calendars for restaurants or various other venues that have live music. You can check newspapers or local circulars that you get off the street. They usually have their finger to the pulse of the local music scene. And one last place to check is your local music store. You can check their bulletin board or even check with the local staff. They usually know of jams that are going on in your local area. So when you're at the venue, start to pay attention to what kind of songs they're playing. Are these songs that you want to learn how to play? Are there songs that you know how to play? And if you don't know these songs, start to write down the title if they announce it over the mic, and then you can research them later and learn how to play them. One thing that I wanted to mention is definitely take your cell phone with you when you go to these venues. Most people have it on them and all the time. I know I do. And what I do is when I'm sitting in the audience and I'm listening to the band, I actually use the voice memo feature on my phone so that I can record it. And if I don't know a song or the name of the song or I didn't hear it and they said it, I can go back later on, listen to it, and then even jam along at home so I can learn a song. This is a great tool and I cannot stress this enough. One thing to do when you get to a jam venue is don't be a wallflower. Go ahead and introduce yourself to people and say, hey, I'm Bryce. I'm a guitar player. I'm trying to see if I can jam sometime. I'm just kind of checking it out for this first couple of times. I want to see how it goes. And most people are usually very supportive and very kind to you and just kind of get a feel for it. And if they're not, maybe it's not a good jam venue for you. So see if it's a good fit. Now, also pay attention to how many people are there that play your instrument. So if there's 20 guitar players that show up and they only have 2 to 3 hours to play, more than likely you're not going to get a whole lot of stage time. You want to find a venue where you're going to be able to get plenty of stage time, plenty of time to play with, and it's just something that you got to pay attention to. So make note of that while you're there. So one thing to note is to find the host who's the person that is hosting the jam and talk with them for a little bit. Find out what kind of equipment you need to bring. Some jams require that you bring your guitar, your amp, your cables, your pedal board, everything. In other jams, they actually provide amps and all you have to do is bring your guitar and your pedal board, or they might even let you switch pedal boards and you're using somebody else's. Be familiar with the Nashville numbering system. Now, the Nashville numbering system, there's plenty of videos on YouTube that will explain that to you. It's just basically telling the different degrees of a scale and assigning a number to it. And it's an easy way when you're talking to somebody, say, go to the 2, and it doesn't matter what key you're in because that translates to the next, the second position of a scale. So make sure that you're familiar with that or at least have an understanding of it. And the basic that you want to learn is a 1-4-5 progression if you're getting into blues because that's pretty much a standard 12-bar blues covers that. Make sure you have songs ready to play. So make sure that you have probably, 3 or 4 songs and know what keys that they're in. And hopefully they're common songs that most people know how to play. Now, with a blues jam scenario, there's lots of standards that you can learn. And when you're doing your homework earlier and you're recording some of the songs that they have, you'll know what songs are going to show up week after week after week that you can learn and play with people. Some of them, at least for my local blues jam, would be like Stormy Monday, The Thrill Is Gone, Messin' with the Kid, Kansas City, pretty much anything that's like a 1-4-5 progression. Okay, you're ready to take the plunge. You're ready to bring your instrument down to the jam and you're ready to jam. First thing you need to do is locate the jam host and talk to them. Some places have a sign-up sheet where you sign up and then when they get to you, they put you on stage. Other places you just verbally talk to the jam host and they'll work you in as needed. Now, the jam host, their job is to pair you with experienced players because you being an inexperienced player and you're wanting to get up there, it's not going to end well if they put a bunch of inexperienced players together. So their job, like I said, is to find a good mix of people that know, people that sing songs and people that don't sing songs, people that are inexperienced and experienced, and put them together on stage. And that's usually how it works. Once you find the jam host and you're talking to them and tell them that you want to play, you need to be honest with them of your playing level. Okay, so if you've never jammed with anybody before, you just come up to them and say, "Hey, this is my first jam, and I'm kind of nervous, and I want to jam. I know these songs," and list the songs that you know and what keys that they're in, so that he can get an idea of when to bring you up there and when to play your songs. That's their job, is to work you in. Also, tell them if you want to take a solo or you don't want to take a solo. And if you don't, that's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. This is all a learning process for you. So keep that in mind, but just make sure they are aware of that so they don't cue you so that you start to solo. One thing I want to stress is to get there early. I get to my jam about an hour early. Sometimes I set up because I actually do play with the house band, but even if I was a jammer, I'd get there early because you talk to the host and you tell them, "Hey, I want to play." And the sooner they know that, the sooner they're going to work you in. So if you show up an hour or two late to the jam venue after it's been going on and then you want to play, they might not get to you in time for that. So keep that in mind. So one thing I can't stress enough is to make sure you're tuned and ready to go before you get on stage. Nobody likes to wait for anybody to tune up while you're up there. Sometimes it's a really quick turnaround when you're swapping out jammers and you're ready to go and the time's really, really tight. So be very respectful of everybody's time and make sure you're tuned up. Make sure you introduce yourself to everybody on stage, the drummer, the bass player, the singer, the other guitar player, everybody. Just be friendly and let them know who you are and just say, "Hey, thanks for making music with me, and giving me this opportunity." Be very gracious. One thing to note is the singer calls the song. They call the song, they call the key. Okay, there's no negotiation in that usually. So they will cue you on which solos are going to be happening and in what order. So they usually just point to people or give you a head nod. Everybody's got their own way of doing it. And you just got to really pay attention when you're on stage. And I can't stress that enough. Don't get self-absorbed into your playing. If you're that obsessed with your playing and you're not ready to start jamming yet, basically, in my opinion, because you have to pay attention, because a lot of times they'll hold their hand up, they'll give you a stop, you need to stop playing. You got to be able to pay attention to this thing, especially with songs you've never played before. Solos are typically 2 cycles of a blues progression. So like a 12 bar progression, they'll play that twice. So you have two cycles to solo over. So don't do one and then stop. There are exceptions to the rules, and sometimes, more inexperienced players, they just give them one cycle to get them through, and then they pass the solo to another person. So just pay attention. Your volume knob is your best friend for a couple of different reasons. If you're up there and you're playing a song that you have no earthly idea what it is, what the chord progression is, and you are completely lost, turn down your guitar all the way and strum. Look like you're playing. Don't ruin everybody else's magic that does know the song. If you don't know it, that's okay. It comes up all the time for me. I get up there and there's a new song and I've never played it before and I am completely lost. Don't play. Don't ruin it. So turn down your volume. The other reason that it's your best friend is do not play too loud. I can't stress that enough. Okay? Don't play too loud over a singer. Don't play too loud over somebody else's solo. Okay. The whole idea of playing in a group together is to make music. Now, there's a time to shine and then there's a time to blend in. Solos are the time that you shine. Okay? Now, if you start playing over somebody's solo, people will not jam with you. Okay? Now, there's exceptions because, you're a beginner and you can sometimes make mistakes, but I am telling you straight up, do not play too loud and do not play over people's solos because it does not go over well at all. And that's just, experience that I've learned on my own. Don't be hesitant to ask somebody, "Hey, am I playing too loud?" If I am, turn down or, just ask you. I'd rather be too quiet than too loud. And when you're learning how to work on your volume dynamics in a stage setting, it's going to take practice and you can't learn that at home. So bear with yourself. Know you're going to make mistakes, but you are going to get it if you keep at it and keep practicing. Keep talking to people. Get feedback too. It'll also help you out. So when you're done, make sure that you thank everybody that you introduced yourself to when you're getting off stage. Just go ahead and give them a quick handshake or even a wave and just say, "Hey, thanks for making music with me. I appreciate you jamming with me." Because it will go a long way when you keep going, week after week. People want to play with people that they can easily play with and that they're nice with. Because if you're thinking you're God's gift to guitar playing, you're not going to get very far. Or any instrument for that matter. Just be cool. Just be cool and be gracious, and people will want to jam with you in the future. So one thing that I really want to stress is many of these venues that offer jams are running on extremely tight margins. A lot of times they don't make a whole lot of money. So make sure that every time you're there, you either buy a drink, buy some food. Now again, with the drinks, it doesn't have to be alcoholic. It could be tea, it could be a soda, it could be anything that you want. The whole point is that you're supporting the jam venue so that the jam continues to happen. One other thing I wanted to stress is tip the band if you can. $1, $5, whatever you can give, because you know what? These musicians are making very little money. I know firsthand how much money they're making by attending this jam, and it's just one of those things that it helps you support the jam and it becomes part of the community. I've been doing this. I buy food, I'll tip the band, even if I'm playing in the house band, I will do that, and it really goes a long ways because it supports the jam venue and the community and wants it to continue on. Because if you don't do that, I've seen jam venues go out and they're doing karaoke or they're doing something else, like sports with ESPN. Everybody doesn't want to do live music anymore. So if you don't support it, it will not happen. So I can't stress that enough. Make sure you stick around and listen to the band. Now, I don't care if you just tanked on stage and you're super embarrassed. Stick around for an hour or so and watch a couple more people play, because you know what? It will go a long way. You're supporting the jam venue, and you're going to learn by watching other people. You're going to learn how they play, what the nuances are, how they do things. If you really pay attention, you'll learn. And on top of that, it's a great conversation piece that if you see somebody do something really cool on stage, when they get off, say, hey, I'm Bryce. By the way, that was a really cool solo in Little Wing, or whatever they did. And they'll say, oh, thanks. And it's just a great way to start a conversation and meet people. And the more people you meet, the better you are. More chances you're going to get to jam with people. I know that because I've done some of these things that I've talked about in this video. I've had people invite me out to jams, call me up. And they say, hey, I know you work on Monday, but Sunday night, we're going to start at 8 o'clock and I'll let you play the first set with me and then you can leave. They've been super cool like that with me because they've worked with me. I work full time. It's not like I'm doing this for a living, but I have a lot of fun. I really love the community that I am. They've been very gracious to me. They've been very, very kind. They've been very, very supportive. And I really can't tell you, there's not anything like it on the planet when you come to a music community in your local community and you become a part of it. And they let you be a part of it. That's what's pretty amazing when you get to do that. Not only you get to play really cool stuff with a lot of fun people, but you just make a lot of great friendships. And really, in my opinion, you can never have enough friends. Okay, everybody, hopefully some of those tips will help you out getting started jamming. And if you've got any questions, you can always email me or comment on this YouTube video.